News at 6.
Hostility in Henrietta. Fallout continues from a 13 Wham investigation that uncovered questionable comments made by town supervisor Jack Moore.
This is Obama here.
Yeah. You actually have to pay if they find that there's...
Oh yeah, they'll find us. I think that's how we're going to pay for your cousins in the city. I don't even know what that's about. Well, you know what his cousins are in the city. No. You don't know about city cousins? No. You know all kinds of them. They fuss about it. Okay?
Now, our investigation has many, including the county's Republican Party chairman, calling for Jack Moore to step down. Moore, of course, is a Republican and the target of a Board of Ethics complaint based on those comments you just heard. 13 Wham's Cody Combe also has learned of other formal complaints now filed by town workers. He joins us live at the town hall where, Cody, I understand a board meeting will begin about an hour from now.
Absolutely, and in a statement released late today, Jack Moore reiterated his apology that appeared in our initial report, but he also said this. He says, aside from that, he does not plan on addressing this issue at tonight's board meeting. It's scheduled right behind me. He says this is all a, quote, media frenzy, and he does not plan to address it. However, the party chairman says it's too late.
Well, this type of a comment cannot be tolerated. We do not support, that thought process or that statement.
Monroe County GOP Chair Bill Rylick says Henrietta Town Supervisor Jack Moore's comments will make it impossible for him to govern effectively. Here's just some of the conversation that Moore says he's sorry for.
Well, you know what his cousins are in the city. No. You don't know about city cousins? No. You know all kinds of them. They fuss about it. Okay?
The town supervisor then goes on to refer to an African-American man walking into a town building as a city cousin. Moore says he's now taking sensitivity training.
I've admitted I didn't do what I should have done given the position I have, but that I've taken steps to fix it. So if you want to hang me for whatever you're thinking, go ahead.
He says despite being asked to step down by the Monroe County GOP chair, he won't.
Maybe he'll have a change of mind, but if not, I've taken my position based upon his statement. We just don't have any tolerance for that.
And that's one area where the GOP chair agrees with the Henrietta Democratic chair, Simeon Bannister, who tells 13 Wham News, quote, he owes the men, women, and children of all races an apology, and we deserve his resignation. Henrietta is much better than Jack Moore and his inexcusable comments. Now, we're just about 30 minutes away from that town board meeting where I'm told people will be stopping by to express their displeasure towards Moore comments. We'll keep you posted as we learn more. For now, live in Henrietta, Cody Combs, 13 Wham News.
All right, thank you, Cody. And, of course, more at 10 and 11 o'clock tonight as well. Police arrested a 16-year-old East Rochester student who is accused of bringing a BB gun to the high school today. The school was locked down for about an hour as 2 robocalls went out to parents. During a search of the school, police say they found 4 students in the bathroom. One of them had a black BB gun that looked like a pistol.
Well, at first, I was really really nervous, and I didn't know, why we were having lockdown, but it wasn't too bad because, the teachers were calm.
It's mind-boggling, and to me, it breaks my heart that, we've had to deal with that here today. Not me, but the kids and the parents and the staff.
A suspect was arraigned on charges of criminal possession of a weapon and unlawful possession of a weapon on school grounds. Brockport police are crediting one of their own for the arrest of the person accused of severely injuring a man early Saturday morning. As 13 Wham's Kelsey Smith found out the victim and the accused do not know each other. She joins us now in the newsroom.
Don, statements from the accused and witnesses are conflicting. The accused claims he was pushed, while witnesses say otherwise. Brockport police say luckily one of their officers happened to be patrolling the area.
He turned the car around. People started to scatter. As he was coming up on the scene, he took note of, observations of who was there, what direction they were going.
Police say that officers' observation led to the arrest of 21-year-old Kevin Wilson of Cheektowaga. Wilson is accused of assaulting 27-year-old Michael Sear of Brockport. According to court paperwork, Wilson claims Sear was looking for a fight. Witnesses' statement do say the victim was, quote, running his mouth, but that Wilson came out of nowhere and hit Sear.
The kid hit him once, and then he kept walking. It wasn't when I read the article, it said an attack, and it really wasn't an attack. It was more of just a one-hit knockout, I would say.
Sierra remains in guarded condition at Strong. Wilson is charged with assault in the second. In the newsroom, I'm Kelsey Smith.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. Well, the Fairport teen who was rescued from a 20-foot fall into a gorge says she is grateful to the firefighters who rescued her, but also for the tree that broke her back, because as she tells Jane Flash, that tree likely saved her life.
It was just scary because
Courtney Leverett was hiking to the Fall Brook Waterfalls in Geneseo with her 3 best friends Tuesday. She recalls every minute of her dramatic rescue and every second of the 20-foot fall that led to it.
I must have just stepped on loose ground or something, and so I lost my footing.
Her friends pick up the story from there.
And it just got out of control, and she rolled down, and her back hit and her body wrapped around the tree.
Watching it happen, when she hit the tree, was so scary because we were just we don't know what to do.
The first thought I had in my mind, because I felt back pain, so I was like, oh my gosh, I could be paralyzed. But I immediately had movement in my toes and fingers, and so that was a really big relief.
The Geneseo Fire Department used rope rescue techniques to lower a basket and back brace down to Courtney. They carefully pulled her back up to the top of the steep hill. These are photos taken by her friends. The fall shattered her lower vertebrae. Yet the very tree that broke her back also broke her fall.
Hitting the tree, it obviously really broke me, but further down, if I had missed that tree, it was just a bed of rocks, and I'm so lucky.
It is the 3rd rope rescue this year at this location. The teens are very grateful to the firefighters and grateful for a lesson they've learned.
Just be careful, you're not invincible, and it's just we're lucky in this situation.
Yeah.
And I think we can all
Jane Flash, 13 Wham News.
And doctors tell Courtney her injury was just below where it might have caused a serious spinal cord injury. Sheriff's deputies say the gorge is private property. They discourage hiking along the steep hill. A somber ceremony today outside the Rochester Police Locust Club here to honor the men and women in law enforcement. This scene is repeated every year to honor local law enforcement members and retirees who have been injured, passed on, or who have given their life in the line of duty. Flag raised today to remember them. Officer Darrell Pearson, who was shot and killed last September, was among those honored and remembered today.
Well, we had a cool, refreshing breeze here in Rochester, and that's really putting it nicely. Temperature never got out of the 50s today. Take a look at the HD Wham Cam, and that is our high temperature for the day. Right now, we're at 59 degrees. We've had a lot of clearing through the afternoon, at least a pretty day. Now, you can see on the ultimate Doppler radar, the satellite image, hey, there's lots of precipitation out near Chicago, but at this point, we expect this is going to be heading to the south of Rochester. So we're not going to see any of this rainfall, although we'll see some of the residual clouds later tonight. So the temperature is going to be dropping through the 50s into the 40s. And, believe it or not, we may be talking about a little bit of patchy frost as we go into Saturday morning. Yeah, this upcoming weekend, Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial start, and it may be cold enough for frost. We're going to show you the location for that. It's coming up.
All right. And there's more ahead on 13 Wham News at 6. Later, water skiing without a boat. How you'll be able to do that this summer. But first, why some Ontario County store owners say a proposed law dealing with secondhand merchandise would force them to treat their customers like criminals.
13 Wham News, brought to you by Arrow Kitchens and Bath.
In Ontario County, a new regulation is in the works for pawn shops and secondhand stores. But as 13 Wham's Jennifer Lee explains, the language is concerning some store owners who believe they were not the intended targets.
Stomping Grounds in Geneva sells both new and old, but a county law under consideration for pawnbrokers and secondhand dealers could create a bigger headache for owner James Haswell.
Any of these family-owned local businesses need every minute in the day to try to support their families. And if now they have to spend hours out of the day doing these activities and these regulations, it's going to make it even harder for them when we're struggling to get the storefronts filled in the first place.
The law was proposed to curtail illegal activity. DA Michael Tantillo says it gives victims of burglaries and larcenies a chance to recover precious property.
Expensive family heirloom jewelry will be sold to one of these stores, and it'll be smelted down within 24 hours. That's got to stop.
The original proposal requires sellers to show ID for transactions above $10, items that must then be documented and held for 21 days. The owners usually buy secondhand items in bulk, anywhere from 50 to maybe even more than 1,000 pieces at a time. But under the current proposed regulation, they'd have to document and photograph each individual item.
The amount of time to document thousands of pieces that at the end of the day will end up retailing for a few dollars. And it makes us treat our customers like they're criminals. And that's not the kind of relationship we want to have with our customers.
Haswell and other owners spoke at last week's public hearing. The proposal is now being revisited to consider changes.
While many of these stores are legitimate and while many of their customers are legitimate, they are also the places that thieves gravitate towards to sell stolen property. So we have got to strike a balance that gives us a chance to go after those cases.
In Ontario County, Jennifer Lee, 13 WHAM News.
The DA says county officials have studied other municipalities, like Irondequoit, for example, that already have this type of law in place. Construction started today on a new project at Roseland Water Park that will allow visitors the chance to water ski without a boat. Riders will be pulled by an overhead cable system on Muir Lake, which is right next to Roseland. That will allow them to wakeboard, water ski, kneeboard, and water skate. The first of its kind park in the Northeast will open at the end of June. Can't wait to see how that works when people are actually attached to it. Well, still ahead tonight, the exciting new project at the Rotary Sunshine Campus that's taking kids up in the trees. Plus, it's almost Memorial Day, but it feels a little more like fall. Glenn will tell us what we can expect for the holiday weekend ahead. It was a well-kept gift completed over the winter months at the Rotary Sunshine Campus in Rush, and we'll unwrap it for you tonight at 11. Kids with special challenges will return to the Rotary Sunshine Campus to find a beautiful treehouse, much of which reflects the true nature of the deep woods where it was built by this man.
All the siding and the studs for the framing were felled from the camp property, the pine trees, and milled by a local Rotary member. So that made it special. That all the posts that are the structural posts is all over right here from camp.
We were there a few weeks ago when a selected group of campers got a sneak preview that allowed them to roll their wheelchairs to the top of the trees.
That's fantastic. I've never been up that high before, so it's been great.
Welcome and thank you for coming to my treehouse.
We'll share more of this exciting adventure tonight on 13 WHAM News at 11. As we take you up in the trees.
Isn't that great? I mean, a great way to look at the weather, too. We're above the tree line here with the HD WHAM cam, and at least it turned out to be a pretty day. 59 degrees at the airport. Note the wind direction, west-northwest. And anytime you see that this time of the year, the temperatures are going to be, just held down a little bit, including the humidity. Weather spotters calling in. Brad from Newark, he's got 56 degrees. Everybody talking about how breezy and cool it is. As we go through the overnight, the temperature is going to be dropping too. And I expect in Rochester, we're down around 43 degrees. You go south of Rochester, you can shave off a couple of more degrees. So very cool weather. Now, tomorrow, the temperature is going to rebound at least a little bit. I think it'll make a difference once we get into the afternoon. We should find lots of bright sunshine. And notice here, this is a little more typical for the month of May. We'll get into the mid-60s going through the afternoon, but there's going to be another change, and this is going to be coming by Friday. And this is it right here. Notice the front, the blue line with those little spikes on there. That's always the cold front, and kind of unusual for this time of the year, but this is a significant front. This is going to lower the temperature quite a bit as we go through the day on Friday, and we think Friday night and into Saturday very early in the morning, there's going to be the possibility of some patchy frost south of routes 5 and 20 in some of those deeper valleys. Yeah, the unofficial start of summer this weekend, and we're talking about a little bit of frost. So let me show you the temperature trend. This is the high temperature, and you can see we go from mid-60s tomorrow back into the 50s with that cold front, and then the temperature begins to rebound again going into Saturday. Yeah, we're going to get a more summer-like weather pattern coming our way as the holiday weekend wears on. So you can see the jet stream goes back to the north of us, and that's going to heat things up going into Memorial Day. Here's a look at the planning forecast. We're going to find clear skies, or at least mainly clear skies skies this evening, and then more high clouds drifting through later tonight. So we're going to be dropping through the 40s, and that's where we're going to start off tomorrow morning, right around 49 degrees, maybe a little hazy initially, and then we'll get into a lot of sunshine as we go through the afternoon. The high temperature near 66 degrees. Check out the extended outlook here. Now, we mentioned that cool weather Friday and into Friday night. Look at this. We're into the low to mid 30s. The record, by the way, Saturday morning is 31 degrees. We may come close to that. Saturday, though, lots of bright sunshine. The same going into Sunday. Now, once we get to Memorial Day, hey, it's going to be warming up nicely, but we're also looking at a couple of showers and a couple of thunder showers are going to be likely. Notice the probability of rain that we have on there. It's about a 60% chance, so keep that in mind if you got any outdoor plans for the holiday. The showers may be picking up through the day on Monday.
All right, thank you, Glenn. Little change at midweek as stocks were mixed by the closing bell on Wall Street today. Dow Jones Industrials lost 27 points. NASDAQ picked up 1 3/4. S&P 500 was off about 2. A high school senior from Canandaigua with stage 4 brain cancer is on a new mission to help others. Courtney Wagner has had cancer since 2011. It's now spread to her spine, and she's teaming up with the Red Cross for their summer campaign, asking people to donate blood.
It's really great for people like high schoolers to give blood because in the future I might need it, and I've known some of my friends who do have cancer, they did need it and still need it. So it's really great when they donate their own blood.
Wagner graduates from Canandaigua Academy in a few weeks. She is planning to attend William Smith College, and Mike, she wants to play soccer.
Don't put it past her. Yeah. Very inspirational. Hey, Don, the Bills are the only AFC East team without a starting quarterback, and the Sabres don't get their man. The Pagula money, not enough to get the best coach on the market for the Buffalo Sabres. Mike Babcock turned down Buffalo's substantial offer. Instead, he took really big money from the Toronto Maple Leafs to become their head coach. Reports in Toronto say a key point, Babcock's ability to have more roster input. His deal, 8 years, $50 million, the largest ever for an NHL coach. He gets a $4 million a year raise from what he made in Detroit. At the NFL owners' meetings, Roger Goodell had his news conference. Among the questions, if Tom Brady chooses to be more cooperative with information now, could that be allowed in his 4-game suspension appeal?
We have a process here. It's long established. I look forward to hearing directly from Tom if there's new information or there's information that can be helpful to us in getting this right. I want to hear directly from Tom on that.
On the field, the Jets worked out their OTAs. Today, Geno Smith appears to be the man over Ryan Fitzpatrick. Offensive coordinator Chan Gailey, the former Bills coach, said no competition. Geno is the man this year.
You know, confidence goes a long way, and I'm very confident in myself. But, you know, like I said, we're far away from, week 1. So what we're doing right now is, becoming the best players that we can be individually. Coach Gailey has been great, man. He's very smart. He's a guy that we can learn a lot from. So, I'm just being a sponge and soaking up everything I can.
Hey, tonight on 13 Wham News at 10 on Fox, our Game Changers report. In this one, we focus on athletic scholarship. And guys like Notre Dame's Jerron Jones are few and far between. Former Aquinas star defensive lineman on a full athletic scholarship. In most sports, it doesn't happen. Getting full money is rare. Getting any athletic scholarship money is rare. And just playing a sport at a Division I level is difficult to achieve.
I think there's a real learning curve for high school athletes and their parents. To understand how few kids make it to the Division I level, and certainly the scholarship opportunities are out there. You really have to educate yourself.
The numbers do bear that out. Of all the athletes who play any sport in high school, just 2% of them ever receive any athletic money. We'll have that story tonight on 13 Wham News at Fox. And that's Steph Curry and his kid. Don, Steph starred in the game last night. And his daughter brought all the cuteness to the post-game interview room last night. Some of the reporters weren't pleased because it was tough to get a straight answer. She's awfully cute, though. She stole the show. The league may say fly solo next time, Dad. Cute little girl last night.
Coming up next, our Bright Spot shines on a local woman of distinction. Finally tonight, our Bright Spot shines on the Reverend Vernice Warfield. We spoke with her just 3 months ago, you may remember, when she celebrated her 100th birthday. Well, you're looking at pictures now as she celebrates the honor of being one of Rochester's most accomplished women. The annual W Award was presented last night, recognizing Reverend Warfield's efforts to improve the lives of her sisters. She is indeed a bright spot in our community. Congratulations, Reverend Warfield. And one more look at the weather.
It's going to be cool. Temperatures going to be dropping through the 50s. We're heading into the 40s. Look for clear skies early tonight.
All right, our Game Changers report, scholarships tonight at 10 on Fox.
All right, and we'll up in the trees tonight at 11.